Hi everyone, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I'm broadcasting to you live from Budapest. I hope everybody's having a great day. All right, students, today IELTS reading example and strategy taken from our second exam book. This is test number 4 for those of you that have our books. And as usual, our materials come from our website, so check us out at IELTS.com for academic IELTS, and for general IELTS, check us out at IELTShelp.com. On both of those websites, we have loads and loads of help to increase your band scores and get that band 6.57 or more. Our websites look like this. This is our academic IELTS website with the blue background. Click that red button to join the premium package. And for general IELTS, it's the green background. Click that red button to join that premium course there. Okay, students, welcome. I see lots of people joining in. Hi, Tina. Hi, Wafa. Hi, Ibrahim. Good to see members coming into class as well. Harminder, I hope you're doing great. Again, members, just a reminder, starting next week, April 9th, we will be doing 3 classes per week for members. We will do 4 regular classes, and then we will do 3 members chat classes. So there will be 7 live lessons on this channel, okay? There'll be 7. There will be 4 regular classes, Wednesday to Saturday, and there will be 3 members chat classes from Thursday to Saturday. You can get our books from Amazon as well. Search for AE Helps Academic IELTS or GE Helps General IELTS. You can send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com. That's my name, ADRIAN, at aehelp.com. If you have any questions for me about our courses, our products, the live streaming, or about IELTS. This week we're looking at reading today. Tomorrow we'll look at a task 1 graph or a chart. And then on Saturday we have a members chat class. Now again, remember, from next week that is changing. Okay, so keep that in mind. Without further ado, students, let's jump over to our reading passage of the day. So today we're looking at this one here called the London Underground. The London Underground. Somebody sitting there at Waterloo Station. Okay, when you get to your IELTS reading, there are a lot of different kinds of exercises and practice that you should do before you sit the IELTS exam, and there are strategies that you must follow during the IELTS exam. It's important that you're clear on these strategies. So strategies for practice and learning to prepare for IELTS, and then strategies to implement for questions during the IELTS, like multiple choice, list of headings, true, false, not given, and so forth. Hi, Omar Deep. I hope you're doing great as well. Good to see more members. Okay, so when you are preparing for IELTS or sitting in the exam, you should always read the title, so the London Underground. And as I think Tina just said, Tina said it's a subway. We're talking about a subway here. You're given a picture. In our book, you have a nice colorful picture. In the real IELTS, this would be a black and white picture, but that's okay. A picture is worth 1,000 words. So make sure you use this to visualize. What do you think this passage is going to be about? So let me fire off a few questions here at the beginning. So what do you think this passage will be about? Based on that title and picture. So when you look at this title and you look at this picture, what do you think it's going to be about? Gila is saying another word that is commonly used for the London Underground. It's called the tube. Okay, Tina says domestic travel every day, so commute, subway system, according to Lanthiu. Farhan, the subway in London. Yeah, okay, so it's about the subway in London. Yeah, what else? What do you think it's going to be about that London subway? So transport underground, how it works. Okay. So how underground commute works in the capital of England. Yeah? Okay. Farhan says maybe about the number of lines, the routes. That's right. So perhaps... Yeah, sure. That's okay. Bassam says maybe it will mention something about the pros and cons of using the subway. Possible, yeah. So maybe pros and cons. Maybe the pros and cons of using the tube. Nobody said it, or I missed it in the chat, but it could also very well be about the history of the London Underground. Maybe the history of the London Underground. Maybe. Okay, so those are all some good thoughts, some good maybes. All right, now we're going to read the passage together at a nice, comfortable speed. Okay, so we're going to read this together. Before we do that, let's see if we can look at the questions or not. First set of questions after the passage. It's a yes, no, not given. Yes, no, not given. Should I read this question before I read the passage? This yes, no, not given? So should I read that one before I read the passage? Tina says no read. Why? Why shouldn't I read it? And Anmol and Eunice all agree. Harminder agrees. Why shouldn't I read this? Why is that a bad idea? Because it's confusing, right? There's false information. There's not given information. There's not much I can do with that. So there's no reason to read it. Okay? So there could be false and wrong information there. What's the purpose to read that before you read the passage? Not much. Some students think that they'll actually know if it's in the passage or not when they skim read it. No, you won't. If you skim read that, it's not going to help you figure that out before the passage. Okay? All right. So yeah, don't read the true, false, not given. Here we have a summary completion. Yeah, it's complete the summary below. So here we have a summary completion. Should I read this summary completion type question? Is that a good idea? A little bit of a summary taken from the passage. Yeah, absolutely. So Tina, Farhan, Sachin, Jilla, Arminder, all in agreement. Indeed, yeah. This is all information found in the passage, okay? All of these ideas will be somewhere in the passage, so it is useful to read. It's a paraphrase. It will state it a different way, but it's all valid information. So let's read it. The first line of the underground was constructed in 1863, and over the next something decades, so we know it's got to be a number of years, additional lines would increase the breadth of the system's reach. By the start of World War I, the central part of London was completely covered. Now, students, I know it's entertaining to watch someone read and move in front of a camera, even for IELTS, but I'd really like you to read with me. So make sure you read aloud with me. Let's do this together, okay? I don't want to do this for you. I want to do this with you, okay? I want to do this with you, not for you. So let's read it together. All right. The central part of London was completely covered. Through the mid-20th century, the focus was on making the system available to those living in the something of the city. Before 1933, there were many governing bodies. These were something companies with their own contracts and land. Conversely, management of the tube today is public, looked after by the transport something. All right, so it's obviously a summary of the history of the tube. Okay, and then we have complete each answer with the correct ending. Should I read this one? Hi, Rekha. Hope you're doing great. I always love it when our members are coming on board in these classes. Hassan, yes, you will, but only when you answer the question. Okay, so only when you're answering at the end. I can read these, but not the choices. Okay, so I have 6 choices. I don't know which ones are right and wrong, so I don't worry about those, but I know that this information is in the passage. So the tube map is... The map is useful because it allows a person something. Beck's key insight was London's core is. Okay, yeah. So again, for those of you who are new, very, very simple logic with questions, which ones to read, which ones not to read. Super simple logic. Read information in the questions that's in the passage. Don't read questions and don't read information that's not in the passage, okay? So, Canadian ya are? No, you should not read all questions, just some, okay? Again, so it's a very important tip. It's a very powerful tip to help you improve your scores. So here it is, tip. Only read questions and info or information before the passage that is contained in the passage. The human mind is not linear, so false and added information can be very confusing to read before the passage. Okay, so hope that makes sense. Okay, hope that's clear. All right, so now we will do an exercise as we read. So we're going to read each paragraph, and I will ask you 3 questions. I will ask you, what is the paragraph about? Why is this information presented? How is it supported? Okay, so this is reading comprehension improvement. Okay, so 3 questions. What is the paragraph about? Why is this information given? How is it supported? Okay, these will be my 3 questions after we read each paragraph. So focus on those ideas. Understanding those ideas will make your reading much more effective. Okay, much more effective. All right, here we go. Let's do it. So, starting with body paragraph 1. Oh, sorry, the introduction. What am I saying? It's the introduction here. Read with me. Again, nice and loud. Let's do it together. One of the most notable aspects of London, the Underground, or Tube, is also one of the most utilized by locals and visitors alike. Over 1.3 billion passengers use the London Underground every year. If you have ever visited the city, it is very likely that you have been told to mind the gap. In continuous operation for over 150 years, the London Underground began as just one line run by a private corporation. Today, the system is publicly owned and is comprised of 11 separate lines. The growth and development of the Underground has mirrored London's development as first, an industrial powerhouse, and second, a financial and tourism center. Okay, students, so first question, what is this paragraph about? So let me just record your answers here. So question number 1. Okay, I'm not going to write it because you can see the questions. What is the paragraph about? So what is this paragraph about? It is about the establishment of the London Underground. That's right. So Hassan, you're doing well. Farhan, yep. So make sure you can separate these answers. It is about the establishment of the London. Why is this information given? Let's see how well you understand this. So why is this information given? Why does the author give us this info? What's the reason? Okay. It's not really the history. A lot of you are saying the history, but there are some facts, but it's just an overview of the London Underground. So why does the author give us this information? You should be able to answer this in a very simple way. Okay? You need to do this to get those high IELTS band scores. I don't see the best answers yet. Okay, let me help you a little bit. So I'll show you the paragraph again. Okay, you'll get the hang of it. So have a look. By looking at it, or maybe reading it a little bit, can you tell me why the author presents the information about the London Underground? You should think about this the same as when you're writing a task 2 essay. So I know a lot of you students watch these programs regularly, or these lessons, and I often tell you that in your task 2 introduction, you need to do the same idea. So you need to give the background, and the background gives the definition and the importance, right? So Lan Theo says, well, because it's important. Sure, so an introduction always tells you the importance of the information. And here it is. Okay? You need to catch that, students, when you're reading. It's one of the most notable aspects of London. It's one of the most utilized, okay? So it's a very prominent feature of London, okay? It's a very famous part of London, and it's very much used, all right? So those are the reasons. So second, it is a very important part of London's infrastructure and very popular. Okay, so that should be your answer. Okay, if you're giving me a band 9 level answer to that question that I just asked you, why is this information given? Why are we talking about the London Underground? Then that's what you should tell me. Now, third question, how is it supported? So how is this supported? Okay, how is this supported? And RRCSSS says obviously. Obviously means that you should be able to tell me. Okay, a lot of times people get into this trap of thinking that, well, it's obvious. But if it's obvious, then say it. Okay, that's the trick. That's the magic. That's what I want you to do. All right. So how is it supported? Lanthieu, very nice. So Lanthieu, again, it's a good, you're keeping it simple, but you're on the right track. And Péline Cousinet says 1.3 billion passengers use it every year. Very good. Yeah. So 1.3 billion passengers use it annually. Sure. And did anybody else give me the other piece of information, which was 11 lines connect many or most areas of London? All right, students, so that's what you should be able to do for every single paragraph, okay? For every single paragraph, you should be able to give me that piece of, or those 3 pieces of information, okay? So again, when you're reading, what is the paragraph about? Why is the information given? How is it supported? Those are the 3 key questions. Okay, let's do it for another one. Here we go. Read with me, students. Great Britain was the epicenter of the Industrial Revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries. Cities like Glasgow, Birmingham, and London gave birth to inventions such as the steam engine, which revolutionized transportation and travel. People began to flock to these cities for jobs, opportunity, and prosperity. London was the destination of choice for many of these people. In 1800, at the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the population of London was less than 1 million people. By 1900, that number would balloon to over 6.5 million people. There were many factors which contributed to this growth, not least of which was improved sanitation, but one factor in particular allowed for the mobility of those people across the ever-expanding city, the construction and development of the London Underground. Okay, students, so again, here's my question. What is this paragraph about? Okay, so what is this paragraph about? So again, we're back to question 1. What is the, I'm not going to, you know the questions. They're up here. What is the paragraph about? Why is it given? So Ramesh says it's about London as a destination for different purposes. Amardeep Singh says it's maybe the Industrial Revolution. Keep it simple. Use your own words, ladies and gents. Kento Yamazaki says melting pot of industries and employment. Okay, this, how specific and how accurate your answer is, very important. Silin Wang, great. So Silin Wang says it's about the development of London. So it's about the growth and development of London. Yeah, absolutely. So I would say the best answer to my question here is it's about the growth and development of London over the past few centuries. So that would be a top level answer. Okay, that would be a top level answer. It's about the growth and development of London over the past few centuries. Why does the author give us that information? So why talk about this? Pablo Torso says maybe it's because London is bad. I don't know about that. It's got good and the bad. It's a big city. It's got a lot of everything. But why? Why talk about the growth and development of London? What's the purpose? What's the logic? Why does the author feel that this is necessary? So Farah says, well, to introduce the factors that led to this growth and expansion, yes. So was it growing and expanding at the same rate as other cities in the world during that time? For the second question, students, so for this question, why is this information given? Try to think about it like this. What's special about this? So what's special about number one? Okay, so when we're saying what is the paragraph about, you give an answer. What's special about it? That's why we talk about it usually, because there's something unique, okay? There's something extraordinary about it. So here, why does the author talk about it? Because the development was extremely rapid due to technological and social innovation, right? That would be your best answer. So the reason the author is talking about it is because London was developing and growing very rapidly, uniquely fast, right? So how is it supported? How is this supported? How is this information supported? So it's about the growth and development of London. Why? Because it's extremely fast, because of technology and social innovation. How? How does the author support that claim? How does the author support that idea? Okay, what does the author tell us? Chanduli says by giving examples of different cities. Yeah, so sorry, not just growth in London, but Britain. Some of you are... Yeah, so we're not just talking about London. So how is it supported? What kind of details are given? Okay, the details include the expansion of the London subway, right? That's what we're talking about. That's the big boom in population. So Farhan says increase in population to 6 times. Sure. Migration from other cities. Yeah, so all of those details. 6.5 million people according to Islamu Dina. Yes, Islamu, absolutely. So 6.5 million people. Yeah. Sure, absolutely. Improved sanitation. Okay. Londoners realize when you have 6 million people in a city, it gets pretty stinky if you're not worried about sanitation. So let's improve sanitation. So lots of great details there. All right, students, that is exactly what you need to do. Okay. So I showed you this technique for paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. Now let's keep reading. Here we go. So read with me. And while we read, so let's read together. I'm going to read at a nice, comfortable speed. As we read together, just keep thinking about what is this paragraph about, why is the information given, and how is it supported. So keep thinking those 3 important questions, and of course think about the answers to those questions. So here we go. Let's read together. The first line was constructed in 1863. Over the next 50 years, many more lines would be added, resulting in the virtual blanketing of central London by the start of the First World War. Through the interwar period and mid-20th century, the focus for the subway developers was extending the network to the suburbs of London, where an increasing number of Londoners were now residing. Interestingly, it wasn't until 1933 that the developers of the network unified into a single governing body. Until that time, there were a host of private companies competing for contracts, land, and customers. Today, the London Underground is owned and operated by the London Transport Authority. transport for London? Perhaps the most recognizable symbol of the London Underground is the tube map, designed in 1931 by Underground employee Harry Beck. With its many colorful lines and intricate details, the tube map is not only useful, but aesthetically pleasing as well. Indeed, a print copy of the tube map is a popular souvenir for tourists to put on their walls back home. That it is artful is, however, only part of its appeal. The tube map is incredibly useful. Just a moment spent looking at the map can help you determine how to get from any point in London to any other point. Beck was able to accomplish this by realizing that the map did not need to exactly match the reality of the tube geography. For instance, a line may go through all sorts of turns through its route, yet on the map it is represented as a straight line. This simplification worried the Underground management in 1931, but soon enough the tube map became a sensation, both for its usefulness and its elegant design. All right, students, so again, when you're reading, just a reminder, you should be thinking, what is this paragraph about? It's about the map of the London Underground. Why does the author talk about this? Well, because it's unique, it's interesting, it's beautiful, colorful, and it's very useful. How is it supported? Well, the paragraph explains to us that the map allows people to easily get from one point to another point because of its logical system of straight lines rather than showing every twist and turn. So again, you should think this way as you read each paragraph. Let's keep going. Today, the tube is used more than ever, and London continues to grow, with the center of London becoming a financial hub. Over the past 50 years, more and more jobs have been created in the English capital. While this has, in some sense, hollowed out the core of London, it has also highlighted the need for more lines to service the ever-increasing number of London suburbs. Additionally, tourism to London has never been higher. Well over 30 million people visited the city in 2015. Each of whom undoubtedly at some point used the venerable London Underground. Okay, so this is the conclusion. Again, you should focus on what is it about, why am I given this information, and how is it supported? Okay, practice that at home. Now, let's look at the yes, no, not given. Okay, students, what is the easiest way to figure out if a piece of information is not given? So the first one is over 1 million passengers use the tube each year. What is the easiest way to realize or recognize whether or not a piece of information is given? How do I know? How do I know if this number 1 is given or not given? So forget about the yes, no. Okay? A lot of people think that there's only 3 choices here, but there's actually a hidden 4th choice. Okay? A lot of people don't realize this. Harmeet Singh, yeah, you're on the right track. So if I combine these two here, then you could actually make this into a simpler type of question and call it the given not given question. Okay, so let me show you what I mean. Think about it as a two-tiered system. Okay, these questions. So here, the first tier that you have to decide is given or not given, right? So here it's given, not given. Okay, that's your first tier. Okay, it's not actually figuring out the yes, no, or the true, false. So first you're thinking of given, not given. This is your first decision. Okay, this is decision 1. Once you have this decision, then you go into yes or no. So that's a second decision. Okay, this is decision 1 that you have to decide first, and this is decision 2. So it's at least a 2-stage logic. Okay, it's at least a 2-stage logic to answering these questions. And I did have a clever student there, maybe one of my students from before as well. To figure this out, you can use computer logic. So computer logic will help you with this because it's a computer logic style idea. So the first question that you can ask is it important? Is this information important for the passage? Okay, so yes, no, not given, or true, false, not given. It's multiple stages. First you want to ask, is this information important for the passage? That gives you your first decision. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean with the passage. Here we go. Over 1 million passengers use the tube each year. Is that important? Okay, and again, when you're at home, students, you have to practice with full sentences. So you have to ask the full sentence. So is it important for this passage to learn how many people use the tube each year? Okay, is it important? Yes, absolutely. Okay, it's a critical part, right? How popular it is. That's what the introduction starts with. So the introduction starts with that idea. Okay, so yes, it is. Okay, so when you have that, then now you know that you're moving away from the not given to the given. So you're now at your second stage of logic. Okay? Now in your second stage of logic, you have to think, yes, it agrees with what the writer is saying, or no, it doesn't. Okay? So we've decided this. Now we have to decide one of these two. Okay? So is it true? Okay, that's the next question you have to ask yourself. Is it true? So, yes, it is. So, therefore, I can ask my next question, which is it true, or is it yes or no in this case? So, would the author of this passage agree, this is the full sentence question here, that over 1 million passengers use the tube each year? So would the author agree? And I can see a lot of you are saying yes, absolutely. Okay? Yes, because the author would say that yes, over 1 million use it. In fact, it's closer to 1.3 billion. So yes, he, she would. Yeah, because the author would say, well, as many as 1.3 billion, which is obviously much, much more than 1 million, right? So it makes sense. So then I know that the answer here is yes. Okay, So I put my answer yes confidently, and I move on, and I go through the same logic with each of those. Okay? So follow with me here. The tube is privately owned. Is it important to know, for the purpose of understanding the London Underground, is it important to know who owns it, who possesses, who controls the London Underground? Is that important? We're talking about the London Underground. Would the average person ask the question of, well, who owns it? Yeah, I would say it's very important. So yes, it's important. Okay, again, practice full sentence questions and answers at home when you're doing this. It's very, very important to practice with full sentences. So yes, it's important to know the ownership. Okay? For this passage, yes, ownership is important. For this topic. Okay, is it true that the tube is privately owned? So again, I'm moving through my logic, right? So I know that it's given. So now it's either a yes or a no. Okay? So I've moved this way. I know that it's given because I'm thinking it's important. And is it privately owned or not? Farhan and Lanthiu and Simran and Chas all agree that no, it's not. It's publicly owned. Careful with the tense. It's is. So the correct answer is no. So you just put N and keep going. All right. So let's go to the next one. This one was yes. All right, so we go to the next one. The steam engine was invented in London. Okay. So the steam engine was invented in London. Is it important for the London Underground to know where the steam engine, which is a train, was invented? The invention of the steam engine, is this important for this topic? Okay. Eunice, I'm not sure what you mean by why don't we go fast with these. Okay. I don't think that's important. It talks about the invention of the steam engine, but notice that when you have steam engine invented in London, it's detail, even more detail. So when you have something like that, where you're going into 3 levels of detail, okay, in the IELTS, it's rare that you have that level of detail in a short passage. So most likely this is not given. Okay. London grew by a factor of 6 from 18 to 1900. Is it important for the London Underground to know the development of London, how fast it's growing? Yes, it is. It's very important because the London Underground services the population of London. So yes, it's important. Is it true that London grew in population during this time by 6 or more? Well, if I'm not sure, then maybe here I'll do a little bit of skimming, especially for those dates, to try to see what's going on. So here we go. This is the first place where I see 1800. Okay, the Industrial Revolution was less than 1 million people. By 1900, that would balloon to over 6.5 million people. So less than 1 million to 6.5 million. Is that 6 or more times? Yes, it is. Okay, and all I did there was just search for that date. Okay, so Good job for those of you that got that. RRC, Fazia, Peline, Farhan, one of our members as well. Saw that. That was good. Harminder. Yeah, it was good. So yes, absolutely. Okay, so yes, indeed, London grew 6 times greater during that time. So here, yes. Okay, it's true. All right, improved sanitation was the least important factor in London's growth. So is it important to know how important sanitation was for London's growth? We might say not really. Now, always the last question is going to be the most difficult. If I don't remember, I can look for this word sanitation. That would be the word that I would search for, because this one's a little bit tricky. So improved sanitation was the least important factor in London's growth. Sanitation was probably very important when you have 6 million people in a city. So if I have time, I will search for the word sanitation. Okay, and I find it here. There were many factors which contributed, not least of which was improved sanitation. So not least of which. So that means that sanitation was important. Okay, so sanitation was absolutely important. So in this case, my answer is no, because it's a negative there. So yes, no, not given, yes, no. Those are my answers. Okay, yes, no, not given, yes, no. I hope that makes sense. Okay, let's keep moving. Here we go. Summary completion. So the growth of the London Underground. The first line of the Underground was constructed in 1863, and over the next something decades, additional lines would increase the breadth of the system. Okay, so this one I might not remember. It's a little bit tricky. I don't know how you are, but I'm not good with numbers. So here I have to search a little bit for this. I know that we're talking about the growth of the Underground. These summary completion questions usually come from one part of the reading. Now I see some answers. So some of you are saying 15. Some of you are saying 5. So here we have a very specific date, 1863. And we have the first line. So we know that's somewhere in the beginning, and we're going to look for that. Here it is. So the first line was constructed in 1863. Over the next 50 years, many more lines would be added. So 50 years is how many decades? 5, right? Because 1 decade is 10 years. So 5 is correct. And you can use the number. Okay, they'll give that to you. So here we go. Just put 5 in there. So 5 decades. Okay, additional lines would increase the breadth of the system's reach. By the start of World War I, the central part of London was completely covered. Through the mid-20th century, the focus was on making the system available to those living in the where. Does anybody remember where of the city? So for number 7, the lines are expanding. When you have a city, you have the city center, then you have the edge. Sure, RSC, but what's outside the edge? Kento Yamazaki says the suburbs. Kento, you have the right answer, but Farhan has the right spelling just under. Living in the suburbs. Okay. Urban, city, rural, farm or village life, suburb, outer city. Okay, so suburbs are where you have the houses, the schools, all nice and close together. It's suburbia. Okay, suburbia, so suburbs of the city. Before 1933, there were many governing bodies. These were something companies with their own contracts and land. What do you think is the best word that goes in number 8? You should not have to search for that one. So number 8, these were what kind of companies with their own contracts and land? Farhan says they were private companies. That's right, they were. Private companies. Okay? Now, if you can't find it, or if you don't know the word private goes there, then you might search, then you're looking in the same paragraph for the word companies. Okay? So here's that paragraph. It's coming from here. All right? Until that time, there were a host of private companies competing for contracts. So there you see the word private companies. Okay. Suburb is not necessarily far from the city center, Bipin. It just means it's not as crowded as the city center. Okay. Suburbs can be quite close to the city center as well. Okay, because it's suburban. All right. So here we go with the last part. Conversely, management of the tube today is public. Okay. Now, when you read something like this, conversely, management of the tube is public, you should right away remember that, oh, wait a second, there was a question here. The tube is privately owned. So now there's no way you should get that wrong. You should know that it's a no. Okay. Looked after by the transport what? Lanthiu, Kento Yamazaki say it's the Transport Authority. And you're right. Transport Authority. Okay. Excellent. Good. Good job. Transport Authority. Anmal. Good. Yep. One word. Okay. Remember, instructions. Choose one word only from the passage. One word. Okay. So, Transport Authority. All right. Last question. Completing the sentence endings. Students, the tube map is what? What is the tube map? According to the paragraph that we read, according to the passage, what is the tube map? So the map of the London Underground. What is it? Tell me everything you know about it. Dakshil Chowdhury says it's useful. Yes. Farhan says it's artistic. Absolutely. Yeah, it's useful. It's artistic. What else? Is it anything else? It's a card? I'm not sure if it's a card, Islamu, Dina. I don't know if they said that. Anmal says it's unique. It's useful, unique, artistic. And because it's unique, it's a popular souvenir, right? Yeah, that's right. Charlie Sen. Very good. Charlie Sen says it's a souvenir. People like taking it home, putting it on their walls. Hey, I went to London. Look, there's the tube map. Islamu, aesthetic, means that it's beautiful. Good. So any of these match? To see how to get anywhere in London, full of jobs in the financial sector, being hollowed out by tourism, colorful and intricate, popular souvenir for tourists, that the map is not needed to be accurate. Okay, which one is it? Colorful and intricate, popular souvenir for tourists. It's D or E, right? If you have two possible choices, then try to check for the grammar. The tube map is popular souvenir for tourists is wrong grammatically because there's a missing a. So it should be the tube map is a popular souvenir. So that is not going to be correct. It's a tricky one. Is colorful and intricate. That works grammatically. So D is the better answer. Okay. When you have two possible choices, check the grammar. The map is useful because it allows a person, what? What does it allow? It allows the person to get from place A to place B very easily. So to see how to get anywhere in London, yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm just laughing because I tripped up on my own tongue. Full of jobs in the financial sector, and being hollowed out by tourists, nope. Colorful and intricate, popular, the map did not need to be geographically accurate. I think A looks the best. I hope everybody agrees with me. Yeah, looks like it. Mamata, Farah, Nishan, Tina, Mario, Espitia. Very good. We're all in agreement. A, it is. What was Beck's key insight? So Beck realized something. He had a light bulb go off. Bing! Aha! Genius. I just realized something. What did Beck realize? I'm not Beck. I'm just pretending. What did Beck realize? Beck realized that the map does not need to be accurate according to real geography, right? He had an aha moment. That's right, Kasra. Aha, eureka. It's called a eureka moment. He had a eureka moment. Beck's eureka moment was that you could draw straight lines even if the subway is going all over the place, all over the map, as they say. So notice how I'm solving these answers, students. I'm thinking of my own answer first, and then I'm looking to see which one matches. In this case, that the map did not need to be geographically accurate matches the best, and I can see that some of you are agreeing with me, right? So F is the closest match. Now, the reason why I'm not showing you the choices, I saw somebody say, show us the choices. The reason I'm not showing you the choices is because I want you to think about the answer on your own first. Okay? So here, F is correct. And then we have one last question. London's core is getting hollow, right? They're putting holes through it. So any of them match? London's core is full of jobs being hollowed out by tourism. Looks pretty good. Colored and pop. Nope. Nope. It has to make sense. Okay. C definitely makes sense. I agree with all the students who are saying C. And C it is. Okay. Students, let's have a look at the answer key for this to make sure that we're all on the same page with it. Here we go. So, of course, in the back of our books, we have answer keys. Here are the answers. Let me just erase those. So here are the answers. Yes, no, not given. Yes, no. I think we got all those correct. 5, suburbs, private authority. That looks great. D, A, F, B. I do believe that that's what we had. So that's a perfect 13 out of 13 so far. Okay. All right, students, remember this strategy for the yes, no, not given. Also, remember when you are practicing to improve your reading comprehension, read a paragraph and in full sentences, okay? Ask and answer. What is the paragraph about? Why is the information given? How is it supported, okay? That is key, okay? Do that. Make sure you do that. That's what you need to do. Learn lots more strategies that work for the IELTS exam that you can practice before you sit the exam, okay? There are no real sneaky, quick tricks or tips to get to the high band scores, but there are good strategies that you can practice. You can learn those at aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com. aehelp.com is this website here with this blue background. click that red button to join it. Okay? And IELTS is this website here with the green background. Click that red button to join it. All right. Students, that's it for me for today. Tomorrow, academic IELTS Task 1, charts and graphs. That's what we will be looking at. I'll post the question later today. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you're with me tomorrow, same time, 15 to 16 o'clock Central European time. Have an awesome rest of your day, everyone. Much love to all of you. Bye for now.